Hello and welcome, everybody, to the Speakeasy podcast, number 8, I do believe. Today we're going to be discussing censorship on Twitch, and with me are my guests, way over to the... is it the right? MrBrotaku.
What's up?
And joining us today... wait, I called MrBrotaku my guest, wasn't he? He's always on the podcast. The guest today, Stealth Monkey.
Yo, how's it going? What's going on, guys?
Returning for about the trillionth time already.
I know, right? I'm the continuous guest over here.
Exactly. So, the first news item today is... Hatred. Released finally. The game probably a lot of people already know about, but also may not have actually seen anything about. So what do you guys think? What do you two think about Hatred?
Shit game with no story, continuous murder sums up the entire game. Pardon my French.
I'm about on the same line. I mean, from what I've seen of it so far, it doesn't look like there's too much for the game to offer. It just seems like one of those controversy things that makes no sense because somebody's feelings got hurt or something. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, frankly, I saw the trailer for Hatred back when it first came out, like on day 2, when everybody was tweeting about it, and I thought it was stupid and kind of funny. I didn't understand all the controversy of why people hated it. And then I saw the gameplay, and it's even less realistic and less gritty and less controversial than I expected it to be. So, it's like an okay playable top-down shoot 'em up, go around shooting people. It's like Cookie Clicker. You just click on people instead. That's what it is to me.
I don't think I'm gonna pick it up. It just doesn't look fun to me. So
Absolutely not.
It almost reminds me of the Super Columbine Massacre RPG. I mean, it's just something to strike a little bit of controversy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it just as just a game that facilitates controversy, and that's it. Not an actual good game. Anyway, not much to say on Hatred. We'll talk about it more probably in the main discussion topic of the podcast. But talk about the gameplay and things. Anyway, next news item. A much better game with clearly far more violence, because you kill children in this one. Splatoon has released.
put that on Twitch.
Have either of you guys seen Splatoon much at all?
Ooh,
I have.
actually,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
No, you go ahead. No, please, you go ahead.
5 minutes of this. I've actually watched a decent amount on Obnautica's channel. He's basically in love with the game. He's been playing a ton of it. And I've watched a few matches myself, and I think it looks like a very wonderful, well-rounded game, and I am definitely interested in playing it in the near future. Maybe not on stream, I don't know, but it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, it's very colorful. I'm one of those people that, like, I don't care if a game looks childish, as long as the gameplay is fun. That's what matters to me, and that's what this game is showing. It doesn't have to be all serious to be a good game, and I like that.
Whenever I decide to get a Wii U, I'd probably get something like this. It puts a smile on my face. You got all these bright colors going all over the place. It's fun, lighthearted chaos.
I think the game overall is pretty good. I think it's full price, and I have only a few problems with the game. My first problem is that I would only want it for co-op. What I want to do is be in the same room with someone, and, one gamepad, one pro controller, and go online and play with a split screen against other people. Can't do that. The only co-op, couch co-op, is 2-player offline. That's it. So that's really disappointing. And the price is a bit, and then there aren't that many maps and things. So it's a little bit, the gameplay is awesome. The game itself looks really good. But for people who want couch co-op, it's a huge disappointment. It's like, I really love the game, but won't be getting it because there's no good couch co-op.
Is it true that I heard Obnautica saying something, and I think it was along the lines of, you can't lobby up with people and you can't talk to anyone?
I think those are true, yeah.
And that kind of sucks.
Mario Kart 8 had bad enough lobbying together, like party system, but yeah, it's I don't know. It feels like if they spent another 2 months making it so that you could play online co-op, like local co-op online against other people, and so that you had a good party system, then it would be really, really good. Also, like 1 or 2 more maps. I know they're already releasing free maps for it. I think they're releasing a new map like in a week or something. So that's good, but it just feels like it came out a little too early, and they could have done a few more sort of just minor side things to make the game appeal to me and to a few other people. But overall, if you don't care about local co-op, And I mean, the party system is not that bad. Like, you can still play online. I think you can just join into your friends' games or whatever. So, it's a good game.
I mean, I'll add one last thing is that when I look at Wii, it's the party console for me. Like when people come over and we play games, I want to be able to do that. And with this game, it seems like it could be a wonderful game to sit down with 4 or, since it's the Wii U, 5 people and split screen and go online and play against other people. And you could all be chilling and be on one team. I mean, that seems like it would be a great game for that.
Yeah, I totally agree, but it's a good game, but it's disappointed me specifically, and I'm sure other specific people. Anyway, the next news item is, I'm sure people were excited for this if they knew about it. I had no idea. But the next game that came out is Magicka 2. Holy crap, Magicka 2, guys. What a huge disappointment.
Yeah. It's pretty. It looks pretty. I mean, it's another, over the head dungeon dwelling. But overall, I don't know how well it compares to Magicka 1.
Yeah,
the story seems okay. I mean, it's okay. I don't really remember what's the price of it.
I'm on the store page right now. I'll have it in New Zealand
$15.
Yeah, 15
US dollars.
So I might pick it up later whenever it comes, on sale or something like that. But right now, no.
Yeah,
no.
I'm sure it's still a fun party game, a fun game
Mixed
with your
reviews.
friends.
I didn't really play the first Magicka, mostly because I didn't have anyone to co-op it with at the time. I do have it.
I think you cut out for a second there, MrBrotaku, so...
Oh, what I was saying is that I do have the game. I just never played it really. I didn't have anyone to co-op with at the time. Otherwise, I totally would have played it. And I've heard that the first one's really good, so it kind of sucks to hear that it went worse.
Yeah, I've got Magicka 1. The thing about Magicka 1 is it's a great co-op party game, right? That's the simple version. It's a great co-op party game. But it has so much depth to it. Like, the humor is just fantastic. Even at the start, my friends and I always still quote, because it sounds sort of like fake Swedish. It's like what people think Swedish sounds like. We always go, Rembrar, sacred worden, et banana, to each other. That's like one of the quotes at the start of the game.
I always think of the Toaster Strudel commercials.
But and it had so many secret areas that you can go into the level. Like if you cast ice on the water, you can go along the water and stuff like that. And there's so many different spell combinations because it was like 8 different elements that you can combine, and most of them suck. But when you work out the really good ones, you get great spells. But Magicka 2 has simplified spells, less humor, less interesting levels. And it's made by a different company, which is why I was really surprised until I read that. It's made by Pieces Interactive, and the people who made the first game were Arrowhead Game Studios. So, they made by a different company. I'm sure it's still a great party game. It's just that's all it is now. It's not any of the other things Magicka 1 was that elevated it above. Oh, it's a fun party game, So, overall disappointing, but I'm sure if you want a good party game to play with your friends, it's still good, probably. Anyway, the final news item is Steam refunds. Have you guys read about this?
I did hear about it. I heard that it was up to 2 weeks. That seems like a lot.
It was 2 weeks, but less than 2 hours of gameplay time. So you can own the game for 2 weeks and still refund it, but if you've played for more than 2 hours, then you can't. So yeah, to give everybody more of a summation of Steam refunds, you can buy a game on Steam. This doesn't apply to certain things like DLC, things like that. It applies to some DLC or in-game purchases, things like that. But you can buy a game on Steam. Doesn't apply to movies either. It doesn't apply to a lot of things, but it applies to games, which is the main thing. You can buy a game on Steam, and within 2 weeks, and as long as you haven't played more than 2 hours of gameplay, you can refund the game, no questions asked. So it's a similar policy to GOG and what other certain distribution services have had for a while now.
Respect. I mean, I think it would be nice to have a little bit more time than 2 hours to figure out if you want to return a game or not. I mean, I would think it should be like 24 hours of gameplay.
Or 10% of the total amount of game.
Maybe that's too much. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. It just seems like maybe it's not enough time. I think the 2 weeks is a great standard for the overall. But as far as a little bit more time would probably be nice than 2 hours.
I mean, a concern that people have brought up that I think might play into why it's only 2 hours is that some games are only 2 hours long, and people might buy the game, play it, finish it, and refund it. But I think the type of people that are going to do that, for the most part, would either pirate the game or not buy it at all anyway. The people who would do that just aren't going to buy that game in the first place anyway, for the most part. There would be some people who would just be like, oh, I usually just buy this kind of game, but it's so easy to get rid of. But there's another thing. If people do that kind of thing, Steam has a policy where if you refund games over and over, if there's a pattern of you just buying and refunding games all the time, they will stop refunding games for you. You can't refund games anymore. So, although
fair enough.
I keep going one step further. Then you could make new Steam accounts, and I don't know if they track your IPs and things like that, but you could go through VPNs, and you could buy and refund games on brand new accounts. I don't know, maybe brand new accounts can't refund and stuff like that. I think they have, a few little tidbits to work about, things like that. But it's good.
I think it's a step forward in the right direction.
I mean, they already did kind of refund games before. This is just pretty much just a solidifying of what refunds they'll work with and what ones they won't?
They had, as far as I can remember, their official policy was, we will give you a one-time, no questions asked refund. And that's it. And which I used my one time, by the way. I can't remember, it was quite a few years ago. But I had to refund something. And that's it. If I wanted to refund anything else, they'll probably go, oh, sorry, you've already been refunded one game before, so screw you.
I've never done that. I should probably do that.
One thing I've read on there, was it? I read this several hours ago. Oh, here we go. One of the last things on the page, which I'll link in the chat if anyone wants to read all the details. Abuse. It says, we do not consider it abuse to request a refund on a title that was purchased just before a sale, and then immediately rebuying that title for the sale price. So it's sort of what a lot of stores do already. If you buy something and then the next day it goes on a 50% sale, you're like, ah! You go back and you're like, hey, I just bought this yesterday, here's my receipt, can I please get half my money back? And they do it for goodwill, So Steam has a similar thing where if you buy a game, haven't played 2 hours of it, and it was within the last 2 weeks, and it goes on sale, you can refund it and then get the sale price. So
you mean to tell me
like
they're
it,
getting a
but
little
that's
bit of a
complicated.
they're getting a little bit of a moral code? What is this?
Yes. No, they're just realizing that GOG might actually start getting other games than old ones and start competing with Steam. So there's, oh crap, we have to actually start doing good things for consumers again.
I think that's great, but it seems like a lot. It's like you gotta fill all these guidelines, and then it's like, okay, we'll give you a couple bucks back. And I think I think it's great. Don't get me wrong, it is a good thing, but wouldn't it be nice if it was just like if you buy a game and within the next 5 days, if it goes on sale, you get your money refunded?
That would be, yeah. If the same 2 hour thing didn't apply to that would make more sense.
That would be great.
If it was just, if a game goes on sale within a week of you buying it, then you should get the sale price or something. I don't know. There could even be an automated system where it just refunds it to your Steam wallet.
That's what I was saying. It just refunds it to your Steam wallet if it's like within 5 days of when you purchased it.
Mm-hmm. No, so I think they've got a few hoops to still jump through and a few little things to refine and things to clarify, but Steam always does this. They just put out a basic thing. They're just like, I don't know, we'll see how it goes, and I think this one's good. Anyway, with all the news gone through, I think we've got a tiny bit of time left. Let's cover one news item that Stealth Monkey suggested. Okay, yes. That I didn't actually put on the podcast notes. But there's this thing called Kung Fury, and damn, is it hilarious. Now, Kung Fury was a Kickstarter like a year ago. And I'll try to bring this stuff on screen as I'm talking. Kung Fury was a Kickstarter for a movie a year ago, and it's my movie. It is so good. If you have seen Kung Pao Enter the Fist, or any martial arts comedy movie, or any
80s Kung Fu is what this is.
Yeah. What about Rush Hour, or what are the movies would it be like? I don't know. Any sort of physical comedy movie. This is it. Perfected. It's a half-hour kung fu just joke. it's constant humor and people get sliced in half and it's great. But Kung Fury, let's see. I'll find it on YouTube and just link it to people in chat. You guys can just go watch it after the podcast. But it's a great movie. I watched it. My girlfriend hated it. But yeah, it's got like the Kung Fuhrer. Adolf Hitler is the greatest kung fu master in the world, and all this good stuff.
And the game, simple, super simple. It's like a fighter. There's no advancing. You fight this combination of patterns of enemies coming at you. What is it? Two buttons. That's all you got. That's all you got. But if you got major frustration, Trust me, you're gonna let it out, or you're gonna get more of it. Either way, it's coming at you.
You know what? I searched Kung Fury on YouTube, and it was so hard to find the actual official Kung Fury movie. What the hell? But I found it, so I'll link it in the chat. If any of you guys want to go and watch Kung Fury,
I googled it.
Oh, you googled it?
Like
and it came
the
out?
first thing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's a great movie. I think the game is absolute trash, and nobody should buy it. It's not worth $2. It's $1 per finger of gameplay, because this is all you do. Or if you want to be really pro, you do this. But yeah, you just attack left, attack right. And I'm sure that, I know there's a bit of strategy and a bit of rhythm to it. But
Yeah.
the movie is a 30-minute, really amazing movie on YouTube for free, and the game is a 30-second, 2-button piece of crap, which you have to pay for. So it's like 10 out of 10, 0 out of 10. That's my review of the movie and the game.
Yeah, I'm just glad that we talked about it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Anyway.
Uh-oh. What?
You have something else to say, MrBrotaku?
Oh, I was just gonna say the dollar per finger thing we'll get to in the main topic.
Yeah. Okay. Time for the main topic. With the news all done, the main topic of today is censorship on Twitch. Now, this is something that didn't really come up that much. Like, nobody really gave a shit about it until... How long ago was it? A year now? Or 6 months or something? When they started banning things like naked torsos. They put the new rules of conduct in, where it said... And I'll try to go through the Twitch TOS as I talk about this, so it's a bit difficult multitasking. But, they decided to ban nude torsos and sexually suggestive clothing. And that's so vague. I can understand nude torsos, okay. They don't want the streamers, human people, being fully nude from the waist up. That's okay. I think, certain people think that, people should be able to go around publicly with their shirts off, and I think but that's just personal, whatever. That might happen in society, but it doesn't have to happen first on Twitch, right? Twitch doesn't have to be the frontier of freedom of your body. So that's okay. They ban people with shirts. Do you guys agree that that's okay? Banning fully topless torsos?
I mean, it's not like it's hurting anything.
Mm-hmm. It's not
So,
like
I mean,
a
I
big
guess
deal.
it's fine. Yeah.
What do you think about
my
that stuff, Monkey?
My point of view is I'm gonna go for the Twitch's side. It's their service. It's their overall community that they provide for us to come together at. So if they don't want a certain type of image in there, whether it be full nude torsos or something like that, I mean, they have every right to just ban it off.
Well, in that sense, they have every right to ban whatever they like, as long as it's not, we don't like black people on our service. They're not allowed to do that. But as long as it's not something that discriminates against a particular group of people or something like that, yeah, they can ban whatever they like.
People who don't like to wear shirts?
Yeah,
Nude
they just
nude
banned them, didn't they?
torsos, that's for male and female, so unless you're like
Yeah,
hermaphrodite. If I'm a hermaphrodite, can I go ahead and have a...
Yeah.
Nude
I'm
torsos,
fine with that rule. I don't like it. I would be totally okay with everyone being nude from the waist up on Twitch. I wouldn't be. I don't want to be naked from the waist up on Twitch. But I would be okay. If people could do that, that'd be fine. But as long as they ban everyone from doing it, alright, I'm okay with that. But here's the vague rule. I'm gonna search it as well. Here we go. Wearing no clothing or sexually suggestive clothing, including lingerie, swimsuits, pasties, which are just like stickers you put on your nipples, undergarments, is prohibited, as well as any fully nude torsos. That's, alright, that's specific, which applies to both male and female broadcasters. You may have a great six-pack, blah, blah, blah. But they say no, wearing no clothing, okay, but sexually suggestive clothing. This is where people get so confused.
I love boobs. I love boobs, just saying.
I am on the Twitch subreddit every day, all the time. I'm mostly about technical stuff and helping people with settings and stuff like that. But every day I see people saying, Twitch is so biased and they don't ban all these sexually suggestive women. Fuck all these sluts on Twitch. And it's because they're, just from a culture, it's their personal opinion that a woman showing cleavage, especially significant cleavage, is sexually suggestive. And sexually suggestive enough to qualify under the TOS. This is the problem with this part of the rules of conduct, is that it's sexually suggestive. And sure, you can say, it's just up to Twitch to decide. But when people try and figure out what Twitch term decides is sexually suggestive, they don't know. So if I had a low neck V-top, most people will agree that's not sexually suggestive. I could be fully naked and people would just laugh at me instead of being sexually aroused. So, but especially because so many guys are on Twitch, or at least very verbal guys. I don't see many threads about women going, "Oh fuck this guy who has this freaking," I didn't even see this before. "Fuck this guy who has nipples showing on the thing." It's difficult for people to work out exactly what Twitch means by sexually suggestive clothing.
I have actually seen a couple males that I would honestly consider sexually suggestive, and they're not even, just wearing like a ridiculously tight tank top and like consistently, trying to put forth a muscular appearance, try to do that, and it's like I can tell the difference. Like there are, and I'm all for women and men all being able to stream. It's fine. I don't care. Like I have plenty of female friends who stream on Twitch, and I love watching them, and like we have a good time just as much as I watch Ultimate Nerd or Stealth Monkey. It's all good. But there are women that I can tell when you watch them that they are using their body to get views, and that's where I think the line should be drawn.
So, at what point do you find it to be sexually, explicit? Like
When the-
would an
when it-
under boob
when the- when that-
cleavage?
When
Would
the
that-
person, it's kind of up to your personal view on it. I mean, it's kind of hard to say because for me, when I think it's sexually suggestive is when you can explicitly tell that the person isn't really playing games hardly, but their main focus is like trying to be cute or trying to be masculine and trying to put forth a sexual vibe in their stream, and you can see it. It's blatant.
So you're saying if I have my stream like this with this right here and some sort of cleavage pointing down, male or female, you're saying that's sexually, this right here, this is sexual?
It depends on how they're doing it or what they're doing.
I mean, I understand what you're getting at, MrBrotaku, because I've seen streams where whenever this is, mostly I've noticed it in some female streamers. People, okay, I need a what do you call it? I need to specify anyway. I went through the top 60 streams the other day on Twitch, and 2 of them were women. So I'm not saying, and neither of them were doing this. So I'm not saying this is specifically women that do this, but I just, all the men that do this, I probably skip them because they're playing League of Legends and frickin' CSGO. But I see a woman who's streaming, and she's got the cam pointed down at her boobs, and then she gets a sub, and she dances around the room and writes it on this thing and wiggles her ass at the cam and then comes back. And sure, that's sexual. But it's really hard to write a rule specifically about something like that, saying you can't be sexually suggestive on your stream, or you can't wear sexually suggestive clothing, because people will disagree and they'll think, oh, that's not sexual, that's just fun. That's just a bit of fun, dancing around. What's sexual about dancing? And people have to, and especially if a woman's watching that, is a woman going to find that sexual if she's a straight woman watching another woman dancing like that? Like, if I saw a guy dancing around on cam, even in skimpy clothing, I wouldn't even consider that sexual. It'd just be funny. So you have to have, for something like that, if Twitch wants that kind of enforcement, I would think something very very blatant and just objective would be like 80% of your stream has to have active gaming content, so you can't be, unless, if it's League of Legends, the lobby is going to take how long it takes. But if you're playing a game that you can consistently play and you're just leaving it paused while you dance around the room and stuff like that, that's non-gaming content, right? It should be more about the balance between non-gaming and gaming content, rather than sexual content and gaming content.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about right there, Ultimate. What you're talking about is where it's like there's no gameplay going on. Like I've seen several streams where you'll go in there, male or female, doesn't matter, and you can go in there and they're just half the time is just bouncing around doing whatever, and it's like there's no gaming related anything. And when they are playing the game, I mean I'm not trying to say they're not playing a game, but they're really not playing the game when they're playing. They're just walking. They don't do anything.
And they'll stop, and as soon as like a sub or a donation comes in, they'll do their little dance and then go to full view, leave the game alone, and just go. So that's the sexual part, because I've seen a couple of guy streamers go in as being sexual, if you could say that. Before they had the no nude torsos, like there were some guys that had like really, really low cut shirts. They were ripped, and every time they got like a donation or a sub or something like that,
they'd have a gun show.
They would do a gun show. They'd step aside. They would do 5 push-ups, 10 push-ups for every donation or every sub. So I mean, that's sexually explicit for men too, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah. I never even That's my point as well. As I didn't even think of that as being sexual. I thought of the gun show
I
because
feel
it's
like you
just showing
guys
off your
might
muscles
know
doing
one of the
push-ups.
streamers I'm talking about, but I don't want to name any names.
I don't feel about how I don't know how I feel about naming names, so we just won't do it right now.
We
You
won't
know.
do that.
No.
But anyway, you know what? When you brought that up, I realized why I had to specify at the start, because I was talking about specifically in the sexual context. But it really, like, the number of top male streamers who don't barely game, specifically, okay, I'm going to mention a name that everybody knows, and it's, I don't want, nobody's going to go and flame this guy just because of it, but it's Phantom Lord. Okay? He sits there, and I'm really not trying to hate on him, I'm just pointing out what he does, and that Twitch doesn't ban it. And like, if Twitch want to ban girls dancing around for subs, then they should also ban Phantom Lord, because he sits there opening CSGO cases, and then he licks a dog's anus, and then he opens CSGO cases, and then he gets drunk. He literally did that, by the way, for some amount of subs or donations. He picked up his dog and licked its ass. Okay, so this kind of stuff, I don't really care that it's specifically licking a dog's ass. It's gross to me, but, I don't know, maybe it's considered animal abuse or something. But it's non-gaming. It's, Twitch is a gaming website, and people sit there opening cases. It's like, oh, it's in a video game. And then they do all these silly things for subs and donations and stop the gameplay constantly. And then even people like, okay, I don't need name names for this, but a lot of big streamers, even if they don't go full screen cam for something for subscribers or something for a special thing, they will just sit there with the game paused and talk to the chat. It's not as bad, but it's like the amount of gaming content in a lot of streams is really low.
Yeah, I will totally agree, and that's just an additive to this, because the whole point of this is not gaming content. Because I can say I know two really big streamers that are friends, and you guys probably, and anyone in the chat might even know who I'm talking about. But I mean, it's like half of their stream is just, it's talking back and saying sub, and then the rest like barely playing any games. And that is like, what's the point? You're not playing games. You're just sitting there. I mean, and the thing is, it's like, it's not because, it could be one of those things, oh, you're just fucking jealous that you're getting money. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, it would be nice to make money off of a stream, but it's like, at the same time, I don't care. It's still stupid that it's like, you're not playing a game.
I think Twitch is almost having an identity crisis in their own TOS, where they can't choose whether they're a gaming website or an entertainment website, a live entertainment website. And if they want to be Justin TV again, that's Twitch's choice. But they really, like, the way they ban things, it's like, we banned this thing because it's not about the games. And then we didn't ban this thing even though it's completely unrelated to the games.
Like creative, right?
Yeah, like creative and music now.
Yeah.
It's like...
Music? That's not a game.
Yeah,
Whoa.
there's no gaming at all.
You can't play that. Well, I guess you can play a note, but that's not a game. It's music.
Yeah.
Totally different. Oh, jeez.
It's like you can play Guitar Hero and stuff, and that's music and gaming, but as far as I'm concerned, if Twitch wanted to be a gaming website, that would be as far as you could go with music on the website. But now you've got live DJs like Orem. And by the way, I totally respect these music streams.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
And if Twitch wants to be that kind of website, that's fine. But Twitch is not a gaming streaming website necessarily anymore. It's a streaming website. And yet they're still making distinctions like, we can have... Now it's like we can have specific types. We can have gaming content. We can have general entertainment content, comedy. We can have movies, TV shows screening, live for the first episode or whatever, the first release on Twitch, and music, DJs, and things like that. But don't you get that sexual content on our website?
Well,
which is,
another good
it is
example
different,
of non-gaming content. They did what was it? So many days that the Old Spice did, where they were sanding out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of a game. In a sense,
I mean,
it's a live RPG interactive with the chat.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a game. It was an interactive experience.
Boundaries.
Yeah, it's just an interactive experience. Not everything interactive is a game. A spring interacts. It does something when you squeeze it. But that doesn't make the spring squeezing game a game. It's like, is it a game? Is it really? Anyway, that's, it gets so hard to define. This is why I say Twitch needs specific but general. Specific to one thing they want to, it's like, this is one rule. And this bans this stuff, and this bans it across everything. It bans it in music streams, it bans it in gaming streams, it bans it in everything.
So
other than just sexually suggestive clothing.
I've had a thought for the TOS for sexual suggestive clothing, and what if they actually had like a diagram? If you're male or female, this is a type of cut you can have, or this is a type of shirt you can have. That way, anything else other than that, you can have long sleeve, you can have short sleeve, but you can have like strap or something like that. I mean, it'd be to their discretion or uniform, but that would help with the sexually suggestive depending on who you are.
I think that would be better than what they have now. It's really convoluted. They could have a diagram of just this is what what needs to be covered,
Like,
even, and you
nothing
could
below
wear
the
anything.
armpit or something.
Yeah, they could just have, they could have anything like if any of the red area is showing, you're banned. That would still be better than how general their thing is. I was just like, I don't know, if we think it's sexually suggestive, then we'll ban you. And then it's like, it depends on, is your webcam pointing down towards your boobs or down to, right at your biceps or whatever? Or, is it just incidental? I'm sure a guy sitting there with big biceps and a t-shirt is not sexual at all. But a guy doing this all the time and like flexing all of his things and all that, that would probably be sexual to a lot of people. Women, specifically, and gay guys, I would say. But I'm sure, even maybe some straight guys would find that sexual. I don't really know. But sexual things like that can either be incidental in that, oh, it's just a really muscular guy playing a game in a t-shirt, or, oh, it's a really muscular guy doing all this and that, and they can't really get that specific in their TOS. Where's OP Nerd tonight? I'll answer this, normally I answer this kind of stuff in the chat, but it's kind of relevant to the whole podcast, and even on YouTube. OP Nerd just didn't want to talk about this because he doesn't stream on Twitch anymore, so he's not in the podcast tonight.
Actually, I just want to say something about what Arrow just said in the chat. Don't see much gaming going on in the stream. Actually, it's supposed to be gaming-related content. So if we are talking about video games or video game-related stuff, Twitch, we are doing gaming-related content.
Yeah, I mean,
and we're underneath the game talk shows category too. So
yeah, even that, I wasn't saying that Twitch should just be a game streaming, not gaming, but game streaming website. I'm saying they need to decide what they are.
Yeah, we just need to make up our minds. That's the thing, is like it's like everything's a little bit everywhere, and there's like no specific rules. It's like someone was mentioning in the chat something about some of the popular streamers getting away with stuff because they're popular. It's like rules.
Yeah, rules should apply to everyone, not just women with big boobs, like when that rule came out, or not just the small streamers, and not just whatever. Anyway, I think we've covered, this is sort of old news at this point. We've covered it pretty well, so let's move on to what happened much more recently, and what I'm sure much more people are really interested in, is when Hatred came out. The Hatred just came out a few days ago. Before it even came out, before anybody had reviews of it, before anybody knew what the gameplay was specifically like, Twitch decided to ban it. And you know what they did? They didn't say Hatred is banned on Twitch. If they said that, I'd be like, alright, that sucks, and it's kind of, in a way, Twitch using their power against Hatred to try and hurt the promotion of it. But they don't want a certain game on their site. They've done it before with Honey Pop and other dating sims and things. Okay, they can remove whatever games they want from their website. But they said AO games, as rated by the ESRB, are banned on Twitch. And holy crap, is that terrible, in my opinion.
What about indie games that aren't rated by the ESRB?
Exactly.
Like, are they going to ban those out too? So no, indie game, you're not rated by the ESRB. You can't come in here until you go and pay something to get in here. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, I totally agree, because I mean, anything that's unrated is technically anything goes.
Yeah,
right?
The thing about that is, Twitch has some general guidelines, and I'll see if I can even find this. This is my point about Twitch being terribly non-specific, and people don't even know the rules on Twitch. You have to go and search for them to just find what they actually... Like, I can't think of them off the top of my head, so if I picked up an unrated game that might be a bit edgy, I might get banned just for playing it. And you know what the Twitch staff have said? They've said this on the Twitch subreddit. Oh, you should contact us and ask before streaming that. It's like, are you kidding me? What about variety streamers who play a new game every day? What about when a new game just comes out that day? You don't have time, you don't want to freaking waste your time talking to Twitch staff, getting a reply a week later saying, oh yeah, that's fine, or no, that'll get you banned. They need specific guidelines, but it's like, Hatred gets banned. Hatred, which, holy crap, that game is shit. It's freaking Cookie Clicker, but with people and guns. You just walk around and you run around and you shoot people, and it looks like, the graphics are okay, but it's totally unrealistic, and the executions are boring, and it's so lame. It's like a floppy penis, all right. Where GTA is the fully erect. version. All right, GTA, you go around, you're just mowing down people, and you see a woman on the side of the road who annoys you, like she's going ah, or so you pull out your gun and shoot her just because she's annoying, and you run over people and you just murder just for no reason. You get pulled up by the cops. Oh, you just lose a bit of money, and then you keep doing it. You don't have to do this stuff in GTA, but you can. GTA is such a more violent game than hatred.
CSGO.
CSGO, where you just kill the good guys over and over. What about Left 4 Dead? You're killing zombies, but there's still, people. Anyway, it's more realistic than hatred. Hatred is such a crappy joke of a murder simulator, and it's banned because of controversy. This is the thing. It was rated by the ESRB as adults only before it came out for excessive violence, and the violence is pathetic. It's because of controversy. The ESRB rated it AO because of controversy, then Twitch banned it because of controversy. It's so dumb. It's like, oh, if your game is controversial, we're just going to ban it.
And the controversy is what? They're innocents. You got cops, innocents, and you're just a mad mother trucker that wants to just mow down people.
You're a mad mother trucker in every game.
Nowadays, you know how many games since the beginning of gaming have been you play as the bad guy? That's been a concept for a long time. You take
Even
on
if you're the good
side.
guy, you kill innocent people.
I mean, the leader, the main role that you play in Grand Theft Auto 5, the 3 characters are fucking criminals.
And hardcore criminals too, not just like small-time gangsters selling weed. They're actually, pulling off bank heists, and they're murdering people and freaking torturing people and...
Payday 2? I didn't even think about that.
You tied up to a battery and all that kind of stuff in GTA 5?
You know what? I played GTA 5. I haven't played all the way through the story, but you become the insane character, whatever his name is. And if you don't want to spoil, I'll be about 10 seconds explaining this. But in the first scene with that character, you beat the shit out of this guy after fucking his girlfriend, and you kill him. You stomp on his head and kill him. That's in the first scene with that character. And then later on, I hear this torture scene. I haven't played that. What about in freaking... South Park, The Stick of Truth, you're like anally probing by aliens and stuff like that. All this stuff is so much more graphic, so much more realistic, especially in GTA 5's case, so much more realistic and so much more graphic than hatred. And hatred is banned for controversy.
That's it. I'm gonna go play Mortal Kombat. Fuck, just forget
Mortal Kombat!
I'm just done.
Exactly!
I'm gonna rip someone's spine out and get up close so you guys can see it.
In what universe is it logical to ban hatred for violence, but not Mortal Kombat? What? Mortal Kombat, just because it's up to... If they get to hatred 10, will you unban it? Mortal Kombat is no longer controversial just because there have been 10 of it. When it first came out, everyone was like, oh no, think of the children, just like the way with hatred. And then they realize it's just knocking off people's heads and splitting them in half, and it's gruesome, and it feels bad to watch, for me anyway. It's like, ugh, But I'm not going to go and kill people because I watched frickin' somebody kill people in a video game. And... hatred comes out and it's nothing even new. The only thing new about the trailer is, well, the viral nature of the internet and the trailer. Those are the 2 new things about hatred. So when the next viral trailer comes out for a game, is that not going to be banned just because it's not that controversial anymore? There's no objective reasoning behind the adults-only ESRB rating, and no objective reasoning behind Twitch's banning things. They're just like, oh, we don't like it. I don't know, we don't want to deal with it. Ban it.
All right. So lesson learned, if you're going to make a crazy controversial game, just have an intro like Borderlands did.
What,
just
a funny
go crazy.
One or something?
Just do something funny and off the wall that's silly and cute.
Yeah, in the trailer, in the start for Borderlands, this guy gets smashed by a big bus or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's just straight away. That's more graphic and realistic than hatred.
Or we could go about it and do something like Doom 5 seconds trailer, the rest of it's just a smiley face, and then once the game comes out, there you go.
Yeah, you know what? It's not about the gameplay, it's about the trailer. You can make a trailer with kittens farting rainbows. And the gameplay could be literally like slow motion controlling exactly how you're gonna stab this person in the eyeball or something. That could be your game. It could be a slow motion murder/torture simulator where you're like sawing away at people's throats, and that would be allowed on Twitch as long as the trailer's not too controversial. As long as the trailer's just got kittens in it. It's like, oh, it's not controversial. Oh, it's incredibly violent and graphic and gritty. Oh, that's okay as long as the trailer isn't like that. Okay, just don't make the trailer. As long as we're not surprised by the trailer.
It's like another way to compare that is just kind of like 7PD said in the chat. It's like it goes back to the thing with Twitch. It's like when things are popular, no one cares. But as soon as someone small comes out that's controversial, get rid of them.
That's given me a great thought. So something I wanted to cover on this podcast is that dating sims, even censored versions of dating sims, are banned. Banned on Twitch. Not every dating sim. They don't ban the dating sim genre, but when a new dating sim comes out, they're like, oh, it's banned. Oh, there's a censored version on Steam? It's banned. And here's the thing, you just made me realize, games like GTA 5 are so violent and gritty and realistic in their violence and gruesome, like to where you can feel it happening. And they're okay because they're popular. Because if Twitch didn't allow GTA 5 to be streamed, people would go nuts. But but a dating sim comes out, and that's a niche genre for specific people. That comes out, it's not that popular, so they're just like, we don't want to ban it. We don't even want to look at it, just ban it. Just because it's not popular. Oh, you're a non-popular streamer, you'll get banned for stuff that we ban for. But you're a popular streamer, and you lick a dog's anus, fine. Oh, there's a popular game coming out? Well, it's not really sexually focused. It's not like all you do in GTA 5 is torture people and go to strip clubs and look at girls' asses. You can do other stuff. You can manufacture drugs and steal cars and stuff. Okay, it's not that bad, guys. We shouldn't ban that. And I'm not saying they should ban GTA 5, by the way. They totally shouldn't. But they ban other games just like, but it's a sexually focused game. It's a dating sim. It's about dating someone and then eventually having sex with them, which is censored. We don't want that. You might have a censored sex scene with them. No, that's too much.
So experiencing the life of dating sims, right? That's more or less what you're doing. You're what? Assuming you're simulating the role dating. Of one part. Exactly. You're simulating dating. So what about Sims? What? Boom. This is a whole life aspect
right there. Just got him because it's censored sex too.
Exactly.
You simulate dating them up to the point where you get to have sex with them, and then you go woo under the covers.
Yeah,
you're good to go.
You do some woo at the covers, and you're having babies. You're having babies.
It's the same thing.
That you know what I really need to go into specifics here just to cover how right you are, because in dating sims I haven't played. I don't think any dating sim. I was curious about How to Have a Boyfriend because apparently it's a bird dating sim. So that sounds funny. But dating sims, the censored versions of dating sims, they might have a girl with huge tits, like an anime girl. But she'll have decent clothing on, and she'll have underwear on. She'll have like a mist in a sauna covering her nipples and most of her boobs and things. That kind of stuff would be okay if it was in GTA 5. That kind of stuff would be okay if it was in The Sims, because that's popular. That's what it is. It's popular. And it's like games that are specifically about sex aren't that popular. Games like Hatred, specifically just about violence, not that popular, except it is because it's extremely controversial. But it's like, it's in The Sims. That's okay. It's just one aspect of the game. Just don't do it all. They don't even say that about The Sims, by the way. You can go in GTA 5 and they're like, don't go to too many strip clubs. If it's necessary for the quest, you can go there. But don't stream just 5 hours of going to strip clubs, giving money to women.
Hold on, Twitch. You're telling me how to play my game? I want to go to a strip club because I'm bored, dang it. You can't tell me I can't go.
What if if it's about a density thing? What if you stream GTA 5 online races for a year, and then you have 1 8-hour stream where you just go to strip clubs and look at women dance all day? There will be the same sort of volume of sexual content that they're allowing in general GTA content, but they would probably ban for that. It's so not this is why I say they're so non-specific and subjective in their rules. Just like, we don't really like it.
You allow the content or you don't.
You know what? What about Duke Nukem Forever? You start off that game and you've got women giving you a blowjob. You could throw around poo, and it's not a good game necessarily. I actually don't mind it that bad. And I played it recently, and the mouse wasn't as bad as I remember. So I would actually play through that one day. But Duke Nukem is sexual violence simulator. Is it okay just because you're killing unrealistic aliens in a much more realistic way than you're killing in hatred? It's nobody.
Tell you what, in Hatred, what they should have done is just made Hatred about aliens. It should have just been on another planet, and you play as aliens. I guarantee the controversy would not have happened.
Innocent aliens and innocent cop aliens. Whatever, kill the aliens. We don't care.
Yeah, who gives a shit about aliens? Make it about Mexicans and people who feel the same way.
It's not about the concept behind it. It's whether or not it's about humans and controversy and whether or not we're going to make money on it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's even like, I think about it, it sucks for Hatred in a way that it wasn't streamed on Twitch, that they weren't allowed to. But it's like Twitch walks a fine line. They're like, okay, we can ban Hatred, because not that many people are going to care. And it hurts the exposure of the game in a way, but it also helps it because here we are doing a podcast about hatred, basically. But which we wouldn't do if they allowed hatred. We just mentioned it's new and be like, oh, hatred came out, it sucks, moving on. But it's like, oh, hatred, we don't want that, so we'll ban it. GTA 5, maybe they don't want it, but they allow it just because if they did ban it, holy shit, everybody would start streaming on YouTube and Hitbox. Can you imagine GTA 5 getting banned? Or what about The Witcher, where it's just got sex with every character? What about what about Mass Effect?
What about the witch that has the legs though? The little and then she like flips. It's this weird looking, and it's just creepy. Oh my god!
The Witcher has far more gritty, realistic, disgusting, sexual, violent things than hatred. I see this quest over and over. It seems to be it must be a main quest or something. I don't know, but I've seen it in every stream I go to. They're playing this quest.
With the hot tub.
No, I have no idea what that one is. And don't spoil too many things for The Witcher, because I'm going to play The Witcher 3 at some point. But I'm going to spoil one quest. If you guys want to mute for a few more seconds, that's okay. But you go, there's this baby that this guy had. It was like, it died as a baby or something like that. I don't know the very details, but they go and they have to get this demon baby fetus thing. And basically cuddle with it as they kill demons until they, I don't know, the guy's like, oh, I love you, my dear child, and it floats off and it's all happy. But it is so gritty and it has like, all this blood all over it. It's like, a demon, but then it's all happy, like a baby. It's freaking weird. And it's more freaking disgusting and violent than hatred.
Yeah, I mean, you have a choice just to straight up kill the undead fetus.
I would feel more empathy for the undead demon fetus than I would for the innocent people in hatred, just because you actually see in realistic close-up view and understand the backstory of this fetus. And you're like, oh my god, it's so sad that this family had this like aborted child or whatever. Whereas in hatred, it's just like, nameless, just mow down. It's like mowing grass. You could play Grass Mowing Simulator and it would be hatred, except with better graphics. It would actually have some green instead of black and white.
I mean, even Blake said that Battlefield Hardline is another game where you kill cops and steal crap. But it's not banned because popular?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's this is really... I think we've reached a few conclusions here that I want to cover just to spell it out and to give us sort of a clear idea of what we've said. Because we say a lot of things on the podcast. Things get banned subjectively by Twitch. Twitch doesn't like something, they ban it. There are no clear-cut rules that specifically ban everything that has this in it, right? If it's sexual content, not all sexual games get banned. Not all violent games get banned. Things that Twitch doesn't like get banned. That's how they ban. And then, if things are popular, they won't get banned. That's ban immunity. This is how Twitch's TOS works. If a thing is popular, whether it's a streamer or a game, it won't get banned. And if they do, it's like they get a phone call from the Twitch staff or something, or they get banned for 1 week and that's it. If they don't like a game, it doesn't matter what the content of the game is, they will ban it. Even if it's censored and all that kind of stuff, even if it's rated M by the ESRB, they'll still ban it. They say we're using the ESRB's AO rating system to ban things. But we don't like, what about, okay, I've almost forgot. We've only got a few minutes left before the final words. But here's a final topic I want to cover, I think. Gambling. Gambling is rated, I'm going to find this while I talk about this. Gambling is rated by the ESRB as adults only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Real money gambling. Okay, I'm going to go to the rating guide here right now. I might bring it up on screen.
Well, yeah,
Twitch
because you
gambling.
have to be a certain age to gamble.
Yeah, gambling has become big on
21.
Twitch recently. If you've seen poker streams and things like that, that's just the most blatant. There has been all the CSGO
Blackjack.
esports streams, all the CSGO like esports tournaments things, they say during their like sponsorship things, they're like, oh, and go below the stream to esportsgaming.com or whatever, and you can bet real money on these tournaments and things. It's everywhere. It's esports, and it's specifically just gambling streams now are a big thing on Twitch. And they're rated adults only. Here we go. The adults only rating, but in the ESRB's words. Content suitable only for adults ages 18 and up. May include prolonged scenes of intense violence, GTA 5 not banned, graphic sexual content, and or gambling with real money. Hello, gambling with real money is adults only. And Twitch is not doing shit about it, so they on the one hand say, we will ban adults only content on Twitch. Oh, there's adults only content on Twitch, but it's popular, we don't want to ban it.
They'll either go
Okay,
to
so
Hitbox, like
here's
you
a
said,
question
or...
too, because I want to ask it. opening CS:GO cases. I mean, that's technically gambling. You're putting
Yeah,
your
it's
money
real
down
money
on that. You're
gambling.
gonna get something that's worth money that you could sell again or whatever. You know, you can do whatever you want with it. I mean, that's technically gambling, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it
totally
is.
gambling.
And then also with the skins, there's websites that you can go that people actually stream where they bet their skins to get more skins.
Even
So,
it seems you're like, oh, but you're just gambling for skins in CS:GO, but you're
It's
gambling
still
with
money. It's worth money.
you're gambling with real money for things that are worth real money.
Yeah, just like anything else, it's a form of currency. It's digital currency.
man, what was it? We're just all worn out by all this.
I am worn out. I'm like, God damn
I
it!
declare this might be the most controversial Speakeasy podcast I ever been on.
You know, I started this podcast and I was like, yeah, this podcast, we're just going to talk about the ratings and we're going to talk about sexual content and violent content and it's going to all be okay. And now I'm just like, ugh, freaking, they're such bastards.
But with the pokers though, going back to the poker and the adults only, there's some rooms where you can actually say, hey, I want my room to be 18 plus or whatever. And if you have a room that's 18 plus, then that should give you a room to like do something that's adults only. I mean, you shouldn't have to worry about catering. I know people can bypass that easily, but if a parent's not paying attention to what a kid's going to, listening to, or watching, that's on the parent. Twitch shouldn't really have to worry about that. If they say 18 only for this channel, that kid lied, dude. Get your kid. Get your kid.
You know what?
Yeah.
In a world where in a world where any kid can go on their computer on the internet and go to a porn website and just say, yeah, I'm 18, and look at penises entering vaginas, and much more than that. Twitch doesn't have to say, oh no, we don't want that content on us. We're a family-friendly content website. If they, it's not family-friendly regardless of what games you're banning. If they want a family-friendly website, there should be twitchforkids.com or something like that. It's oh,
just have a
if you
kid
could make an
section
18
like
plus
Netflix
age game.
does. Like have it sectioned off. Like, because here's my take on it. Like, if you're gonna do it this way, then just do like Netflix, and when you enter Twitch, you'll just have a fucking kids button, and you'll have an 18 plus button. On the 18 plus button, there's titties and gambling and all that other shit. That's fine because you're 18 plus, and that's okay. And for everyone else that it's not okay for, then they can watch kids Twitch. I mean, that's how it should be. And whenever you go live, if you're gonna have that content, you click I'm streaming as 18 plus, and you go live. No questions asked.
I'm gonna make a website called TwitchTube.
Twitch.
There we go. There we go. Adults only. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, so I think at this point we're pretty much ready for the final words. If you guys have any final points, so you can make them in your final words. But I'm gonna start off my final words for this. You know what? I started off this podcast and I was like, yeah, it's just gonna be another Speakeasy. We're just gonna speak easy on the Speakeasy podcast. And damn, with this conversation with you guys and with reading the chat and going back to things I've already read and rereading them and things and considering, because I idly read news like this in my off time for the podcast. I idly read. I go on Reddit and I see some things, but Twitch, they have a specific setting to set your stream to 18 plus. Then they ban anything the ESRB calls AO. But then they don't ban gambling, and they don't ban games that are far worse than hatred, like GTA 5, which I'm not saying they should ban, but they don't ban them. Oh, consistency. Consistency.
It's just the contradiction. That's the problem.
It's the consistency and the vagueness. It's like, oh, we don't want sexually suggestive clothing. They don't even say things about sexually suggestive acts. They just say sexual acts. What does that mean? Does that mean having sex or stripping naked and jiggling your boobs or is this sexual? To women it probably is. Not when I'm doing it, but
you might want to try it a little bit harder. I'm not going to do it.
No,
instead of having this droop.
Okay, you rip your shirt? Oh, but it's it's so vague and so on a website. Okay, censorship is a serious topic that it affects a lot of people. It affects the people streaming, it affects people watching. And it should be general in that it affects every part of Twitch, not just gaming, not just music, not just men, not just women, but it should be specific enough to be understood and agreed upon by everyone. But it's so vague, and even in their vagueness, they just make their own decisions. It's like, oh, we don't like this. It's controversial. Oh, it doesn't meet It doesn't break our rules. We're banning it anyway.
Oh, well, it
Oh.
makes us money, so never mind.
Oh,
Or,
yeah,
it's
or-
not making us money, so, we don't like
Exactly,
it.
anyway.
And, is it worth the money that we might make off of it? No, okay, scratch it.
Yeah, and and are they worried about their public image? Because at this point, their public image must be, people streaming Grand Theft Auto 5. Think of the children. Your children are going and watching people get tortured and anally probed on Twitch TV. That's probably what people are already thinking of Twitch TV. Are you really worried about hatred? Are you really worried about hatred? Anyway, that's my final words. Go ahead, MrBrotaku.
I'm sitting in the same spot. I really think that my final words here are gonna be there needs to be a sanctioned off part of Twitch, and the first thing you see when you enter Twitch is guidelines. Okay, well I'm gonna go into because you have to be 13 to be on Twitch, right? Anyways, so 13 to 17 Twitch TV, 18 plus Twitch TV, and 18 plus Twitch TV will have everything. So like you'll have all the other streams too if you want to watch them, but like you can see all the adult content, and then that'll include, because since it's 18 plus, then let 18 plus people do what 18 plus people are allowed to fucking do: gamble and see nudity and all that kind of stuff. Like, who cares?
Yeah, it's not a porn site. You're not going to be two streamers having sex on cam, okay? It's still gaming. Well, at this point, it's music and it's all this other stuff. But anyway, I'm just interrupting. You can continue, MrBrotaku.
Well, I mean, as long and that's where I was going next. Is as long as it's gaming content and the majority of it is gaming related, or if it's like. My thing is, if it's going to be music, it should be gaming-related music. And for most part, it should be gaming-related music. Like, for example, if you're going to do a DJ set, and there's nothing against the great DJs on Twitch, because I love them, but I think that if you're going to do a DJ set on Twitch, it should be mostly based upon video game music. And I think that if you're going to be doing art on Twitch, you should be drawing things that are based upon art, or art for a video game stream or something like that, something related to video gaming. So that way, there's an actual community based upon video games.
And I like what you said, Mr. Bro. All I want is consistency within their guidelines. Give like, I made a description of like t-shirts. Give us a little diagram if you have to. Red zone. Mm-hmm. Don't cross the red zone.
And some people have more red zone than others.
Right? You gotta bring it down, bring it here, and the games themselves, nudity, whatever that's going to be in some games. It's not a porn site, so a game that's like all about just having babies.
If it's penis and vagina simulator, then you can't play it on Twitch. Simple enough.
Simple enough. Everything else, boobs, okay, as long as that's not the focal point, that makes sense. That's good in the TOS. Just consistency. Give us some sort of consistency so we don't rage.
Yeah, which is down. Okay, anyway. Stealth Monkey, since you're the guest, in addition to your final words, you can have a few seconds to talk about your own stream and what you do and all that.
Yeah, I streamed the game that we hate, CSGO. 6:30 p.m. Central Time. You can come by, stop by if you want to. CSGO, League of Legends, everything that we hate.
Yeah, actually, Stealth Monkey's not telling you because he doesn't want to get banned, but he exclusively streams sexual visual novels, dating simulators, and hatred. Those are the things he streams.
When he plays,
why you out me like that?
When he plays Counter-Strike, he only plays as the terrorist team because he wants to kill the counter-terrorists.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, I think we're done with this podcast, guys. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Just before we go, I wanna say this podcast was so exhausting. Because not just because we're passionate about it and because it really affects us, but because I think we all agreed. I expected some disagreement, and for maybe Stealth Monkey to be like, "Hey, no, guys, we shouldn't have maybe we shouldn't. Maybe Twitch is right, or MrBrotaku or somebody, maybe people in the chat." But everyone that I've seen in the subreddit, on Twitch forums, on Twitter, everyone agrees that Twitch is doing it wrong. It makes it, when we discuss this kind of thing, it makes it so ragey and so passionate. I'm just exhausted. I'm just going to go and lie on the bed for an hour. Anyway, are either of you two streaming right after the podcast?
Yeah, I'll be streaming probably for another 2 hours.
Okay, and MrBrotaku, you streaming as well?
I'm just going to, since he's streaming, I'm just going to host him and hang out.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so if you guys want to check out Stealth Monkey, I've already posted his link in the chat. I'll host him on the stream. Are you starting right away?
Yeah, I'll start soon. I could probably hop out right now if you want me to.
Okay, yeah, so in a few seconds, just let us finish up. Don't mess up the cam thing on the podcast. But thank you guys so much for watching the Speakeasy podcast. It wasn't so easy this week. Goodness gracious. We'll be back next week. Next week, there's some special news. I'm flying to America, so I won't be hosting the podcast. It'll be hosted by MrBrotaku. I'll still be helping with the notes and things, but it'll be hosted by MrBrotaku on his channel, so, either keep an eye out on Twitter or whatever. I'll be tweeting it out, he'll be streaming it. I'll give him all the graphics and things for it, unless he wants to do it his own crazy way and call it the Brotaku Just Speaks.
Oh, it's gonna
So,
be the Speak Hard podcast from now on.
Yeah.
'Cause we speak hard.
Thank you guys for coming on the podcast. Thank you everybody for watching and discussing with us in the chat. We will see some of you back hopefully next week on the next Speakeasy podcast.